I got flowers today, and today is actually a very special day. It's the day of my funeral. Last night he beat me to death. If only I had the courage and the strength to leave him, maybe I wouldn't have gotten flowers today.
Okay, welcome guys to Flames Talk on Flames TV. It's yet another week and we are here to discuss something really sensitive, something that has been trending of recent, and it calls for a lot of concern. And so today I have two amazing guests who will join me to discuss this very sensitive topic. I have with me today, I have Yemisi Fancy, who is an actress, and I also have Punja, who is a sports broadcaster on Wazobia FM. So today's topic is in recent times now, we've noticed that some couple of domestic violence cases were trending. A very famous gospel artist lost her life due to domestic violence, allegedly. And then there was the woman who also called off a wedding based on domestic violence.
Why do women still stay even though they are being abused and all of that in their marriages? Well, I would say first off is upbringing, because the woman is being built, to take care of her home, to make sure it works. As soon as you leave, there's no bed space for you here. There's no room for you here. As soon as they pay your bride price, it becomes automatically someone else's property and responsibility. So your parents completely wash their hands off you. So you just have to make it work. So that mentality, that upbringing, that teaching.
Sorry to cut you short. Is it the woman's job to make it work?
Well, that's the way our parents taught us. That's what they imbibe in us as women, and I'm very sure their mother or their parents also did the same. So it's like they're passing the whole teaching to their own children. You see me, I've been here, even though the child knows that the marriage is so bad, daddy beats mommy, or there's some sort of abuse, either emotionally, financially, in every way, in every form, and disrespect in the marriage. But the mom will still tell you as you are going to your home, make sure you make it work and all of that. So I believe it's just a generational nonsense that's been passed down from generation to generation, and we keep allowing those things, to go on. So I just feel, for me, looking at how, if you can have a twin, for example, a boy and a girl, and you can see they have different ideology on how they bring them up. The boy child is completely brought up in a different way, and the girl child, on the other hand, they start grooming you to become responsible at a tender age. Sit properly, all those things. Sit properly as a girl. You don't eat like this. Always be in the kitchen. Always, keep your place tidy, neat up. But you see, a boy child will just be there, either playing football or even just, roaming around. It's not helpful in the house until maybe there's some television, radio thing to quickly come and fix. But getting involved in the things happening in the home, the boy child is not being, put in that right, set of mind. So they grow up like that. Give a boy child a toy, give the girl child a toy. They will take it and look at it differently. The boy child can just go into his room and dump it somewhere. But you see the way the girl child will treat her toys. She's making sure the toy is safe, is clean, is well kept. You won't find it on the ground. But you see the boy child will just throw the toy anyhow. So that's the culture. That's the way we were brought up as women. So it's difficult when you start having issues in your marriages. Those are the things that will keep playing in your head. It has to work. It has to work. It has to work. So for me, I just feel it's upbringing and how our mothers or our parents have been taught to bring the girl child up. So we just decide to stay there and make the marriage work.
First, I think domestic violence is not an African thing. It's everywhere in the world. Now, religion is such a big deal here in Africa. And there's some things that when you do them, people are going to look at you like, oh, you're so unholy. A lot of things that we say and we don't believe as a society. We believe that a woman should not be beaten. But if you go to someone in your church and you tell them your problem, are they going to look at it in the right way? That's one question. I know that there are a lot of people, there are a lot of churches that would, they would give you like good professional and religious advice, but there is a perception in this part of the world that once you leave your marriage, you're a failure. And nobody wants to be tagged as a failure. There's also the cultural part of it, where there's a lot of responsibility on the woman. Or you're going to your home, you have to take care of your home, you are the home keeper. There's a lot of responsibilities. So you thinking about that and thinking about, okay, this is bad, I need to leave, but what would people say? It sounds like it's crazy when you tell somebody that, oh, what would people say? And people will tell you, why would you say what would people say? It's easier said than done. A lot of times it's really tough for a lot of people to deal with the cultural expectation, the religious expectation of remaining in that problem. And then there's also a problem of time. Women are very timed. They tell you, okay, you have to go to school, you have to graduate before you're 21, you have to marry before you're 25. Nobody really gives the man a timeline. So you marry at a time that is, not the general time that's to get married. When married, maybe you enter late, maybe you enter at 30, 31, 32. It's already late to society, which I don't think there is a late time for anybody to try to get married, because it's a personal decision. But the society believes that, once you marry at 28, it's like your time span, your biological clock has dismantled. I realize that your so-called beautiful, lovey-dovey boyfriend is actually a very violent person. Your first instinct will be, let me just finish this thing. It might not be that bad. You keep going, 1 month becomes 1 year, 1 year turns to 2 years. If you're lucky, you don't have a child in that period, you're lucky. But if you get to have a child, it becomes worse, because you start thinking of the child, you won't think of it. You will start thinking of a lot of things. It's now worse when you are not independent. What if you don't have your own money? If you leave this marriage, are you going to go back to your parents and tell them? I know that everybody knows that the proper thing to do is to leave. Or how easy is it to live in a society like ours? Do you understand? So it's not why do women choose not to leave? Nobody chooses to suffer. But the conditions surrounding a lot of people is really tough. Okay, let's say you tell your parents and your parents don't accept you. They tell you to stay there. What's the next thing? You have like 2 kids. Where do you put your kids? Do you take them to your friends? Do you take them to your neighbor? Okay, you take them to your neighbor. What's the next thing? Are you going to walk up to a lawyer? Is the lawyer going to file papers? How long does it take for kinds of disputes to be resolved in the Nigerian justice system? It's crazy. It takes a lot of time. A lot of people would even prefer going for like an alternative dispute resolution to just get it done easy and fast. But you need to have money. So there's a lot of problem that you cannot just solve saying, I'm leaving. Where?
Okay. Some people will say that there's a school of thought that they will say, leave the marriage for a short period of time. The man's head will correct. Is it advisable for that separation period, or should she just leave outrightly?
Violence is a psychological problem. It's a mental problem. You cannot, it's like someone taking drugs and you tell the person that, okay, let me leave you and come back. You won't be an addict again. You need to go to rehab. You have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. And before you can go back into that kind of setting, you need like real good professionals to tell you that, oh, this man is okay. So if you think that someone being violent is just, it's just angry, until you realize that this is not a normal problem, it's a psychological problem, it's a mental problem, and you have to deal with it like a mental issue. Don't deal with it like, oh, it's a normal thing. Let me just go and come back. It will talk to my mom and my mom will accept. I will go back. It doesn't work that way. It takes time. And that doesn't necessarily mean that the problem would be fixed. It might mean you that marriage forever. And that doesn't mean that you are a failure.
So now, Punja, when do you think is the appropriate time for the woman to take a seat, step out of that marriage? What signs should she observe before she makes that decision?
For me, some things that you need to, I can't advise anybody on when to leave, because what you can tolerate, me, Punja, I cannot tolerate it. If you are dating a guy that is not scared of anybody, that means, your life is in danger, because you can't run to anybody. He's not scared of his mom, he's not scared of his dad. He's just like an islander, so he can do anything. That kind of a person is already a red flag. Danger. Run for your life. Run for your dear life. So I don't know when it's okay for anybody to move out. But like I would say, these signs are always there in the relationship. If you pay attention closely, you see some of those things. Someone that is quick, to anger, someone that is not respectful to even others. Maybe you guys are on a date, a waiter comes to do some certain things and it's just so, looking at people, treating people or talking to people anyhow. You will know some of those things. So you just be the lady. You have to put yourself first and know what you are looking for, know what you want. But when you realize that this person is not good for you, there's no point wasting your time. So sometimes we too, as women, know what you want. If you know you can tolerate, you can manage this person. It's not everybody that is bad. Even we with the women, we have our own bad sides. You understand? But if you feel this person, that has anger issue, I can manage this person and stay here and I will be happy, this one is good for you. You understand? Some people will take one slap today. They will tell you, provided you don't slap my second cheek, I'm fine. They'll continue to stay.
They will not take another one.
Yes, they'll continue to stay until they take the second one, take the fourth, till it becomes normal thing in the house. So by the time they give you one, you just know that the second one will come. You understand? It's not by mistake, but the first time, once it happens once, I tell you, it will happen again. So once you take that first one and you believe that you cannot take the second one, run away.
There is a school of thought that thinks that the woman ignores the sign most of the time. Now, we're talking about domestic violence in marriages, but you also made a point, a very vital point, Pooja, that people should see the signs before even get to the marriage part. Let me see. Is it true that women ignore the signs? Because when there's money, there is a vacation in Seychelles, there is a vacation in Dubai, and you guys are flexing. The sign is there, but when you're in Dubai, you will not see the sign.
You forget.
It's a personal thing. For some people, having so much anger issues is a deal breaker for them, is a red flag. Me, I can't stand when somebody gets angry all the time. It just tells me that there might be a part of you that hasn't been revealed yet. And for some people, they would pick the vacations, the money, the soft life over. Violence there is no limit to it. You don't know the extent of the person's anger. So you can't tell yourself that a vacation in the Maldives or Dubai or whatever is going to heal you when that happens. So it's a personal thing. If you know that.
What if the man beats you today and buys you a Range Rover? Beats you tomorrow, take you to Santorini. It can happen. Yeah. So
we have seen. I don't think any of us here is blind to that. We have seen some of our friends or even some people from a distance that, endure marriage, endure violence in their homes and get all those things. But that's to tell you that that's what I think is different. There are some things I can take that even Yemisi cannot take. But sometimes I'll just like, you know what, I can't take it. It's me. Maybe my threshold is built to accommodate such. But she can't stand it. So for me, it's relative. It can be whatsoever, but it's not advisable. For me, there are some things I can take. I'll just look at it like, you know what, since it's not killing me, I'm good. Let's go. Give me the holiday. I'll take it and move on. But while some people know
to your own detriment. Even though the holidays, the cars, the gifts are there, but it could still be to your detriment.
Yeah, sure.
Of course, life itself is a risk. Life itself, it's a risk. See, nobody is perfect. We women that we are shouting, hey, domestic clinic come today, we are protesting up and down. It's painful. This thing has been existing for years. A lot of people, women, have been enjoying worse things than what we have now. But because now we are in the digital world where we can share our experiences, where people can hear that, oh, you are going through this. A lot of people want this woman because she's a big person, she's a star. That's why we've had cases like this now. You get, but because now it happened to someone that is close to home, because most of us don't even know her physically, but we can relate to her songs and all of that. So it's alarming to hear that such a thing could happen to someone like that. That is to tell you the extent at which some women are going through more than what we can even imagine. But that is what they can take. That woman had 4 children in that marriage. That abuse didn't just start that day. You get, so it has been there. To hear some of the stories, you can't even relate. Even you as a woman, you're like, I can't take this. But she was able to take it to the point where it's got to a point of no return. So it's relative. Anybody can accommodate anything. No perfect home anywhere. Let me say that clearly. There's no perfect home anywhere. Every marriage has their own, you have your own rock bottom where you can go. The day you cry, the day you smile, you smile. It's not perfect anywhere. Don't let anybody deceive you. It's just what you can accommodate. And if you can accommodate it, all good and fine. I think we need to start from our institutions. We need to look for ways to make things easier for the women. Yes, look, okay, if you want to leave your marriage, okay, your children will be taken care of, maybe school fees at least, or we give you small money to start up a business, something for you to, to fall back on, because depression alone, by the time you leave that home, depression alone will first set in. So it's difficult. So like I said, it's not something that you encourage or you can have the right words to advise anybody. I don't think I have that capacity to do so. I will just tell you, look out for yourself. Put yourself first. If you are the man or the woman that is being abused in the marriage, think about yourself, think about your life, think about your future. You have dreams, purpose that you want to accomplish in life. Think about those things. Encourage yourself. If you want to get out. You never can tell. There might be somebody out there for you who will treat you better, who will even uplift you to get to where you're supposed to go. But don't stay there and kill yourself, because now cry, all of us will cry. And there go end.
So what should the man do in the case where the woman is emotionally abusing him? What should he do to safeguard the fact? Because most people will not see that she was abusing him. They will just see the part that he hit her and she had a swollen eye. What can the man do?
Well, I think you should never allow someone emotionally abuse you to that point of resorting to violence. And
so now men should also walk away. Is that what you're saying? It's not just the woman. They can also walk away too.
Walking away. It's dealing with it. You have to find ways to deal with it. If it's talking to a family, if it's, if she needs therapy, if it's taking her for therapy, everything that you can do to make it work. But if it's not working and, it's causing some sort of mental health damage to you, if you have to walk away, you might have to walk away, because there's physical abuse and there's also emotional abuse. It's also as bad. Because
very, very
fantastic.
Nobody sees you when you are damaged on the inside. We only see things on the physical. And it's as bad. If someone is going through depression, it's as bad as someone bedridden on the hospital bed. The only difference is you can see that this person is in pain, but you don't know that the other person being depressed is in pain. So you shouldn't even let yourself get so abused to the point that you have to vent through violence. Once you see that your partner is violent, maybe by words or whatever, find a way to fix it. And if you can't fix it, put yourself first. put yourself first, because the day you do something really drastic, you might even plan on hitting the woman and you hit your child and you lose your child. And it becomes, man is a terrible man, he's a violent man. Nobody sees where he's coming from. So you don't even let yourself get to that point. Fix it. If you have to take her to a family, have that discussion, let them know that this is what is going on. Because if you do not tell anybody and it goes south, everybody is going to call you names. So if you constantly say to her family, this is what she's doing, I don't like it, and she's pushing me to the wall and she's not changing, I think you should just find a way or just step out.